Listen, Reach has been good to me. Time has come to return the favor. Don't deny me this.
When Halo Reach dropped in 2010, it was the final chapter in a saga that defined a generation. Bungie, the studio that had given us Halo CE and created the modern first person shooter as we know it, was leaving the franchise. Reach was the big goodbye, a prequel to the epic we already knew and loved, and an emotional goodbye to the icon that they had built up. But Reach wasn't just another Halo game. It was a masterpiece that somehow felt both triumphant and tragic, much like the campaign itself. Well, let's talk about that. Reach is one of the few prequels that does it right, telling the story of Noble Team, a group of Spartans tasked with defending the planet Reach from a Covenant invasion. From the very beginning, you know how this is going to end. Reach falls, humanity takes a massive loss, but it's the journey to that point that matters, and Bungie made sure that every moment hit like a truck. The campaign doesn't just rely on big set pieces, despite the plentiful amount of them. Instead, it focuses on the characters, which is ironic given they are 7 foot tall super soldiers. Noble Team feels real, from Carter's stoic leadership to George's big brother energy to Emil, who is just crazy, and of course, Kat. The missions themselves are beautifully paced. One minute you're holding off Covenant forces in the ruins of humanity, and next you're flying on a spaceship in one of the biggest and coolest set pieces the series has ever brought us. The tone is grim, yet hopeful, and every mission builds towards the inevitable. By the time you reach the final mission, Lone Wolf, you're emotionally wasted and yet determined. It's not about winning, it's about making a stand. And then there's the multiplayer, which sparked a massive debate within the fandom. On one hand, Reach delivered some of the best maps in the series, like Sword Base and Countdown, while introducing Invasion Mode, a large scale battle. On the other hand, the armor abilities were odd. Sprint, pretty awesome. Jetpack, it depends on the situation. Armor lock is probably the worst thing in gaming history that almost the most evil and vile people would ever use, but that's just my opinion. Armor lock really does deserve its own paragraph, so when you're about to stick another Spartan with a plasma grenade, only for them to slam down armor lock and leave you standing there awkwardly as their grenade explodes in your face. It was really a mechanic that required skill, apparently, to use effectively, but it can also completely change the pace of a match, completely neutering any attack you used and the effectiveness of other armor abilities. It's the Reach equivalent of somebody pulling out a draw 4 card and absolutely brutalizing you in real life. Despite the controversy, Reach's multiplayer had a weird satisfaction to it. Firefight returned, giving endless waves of Covenant to battle, and Forge took customization to the next level, letting you create your own maps in a space larger than ever. And the theater mode was perfect for reliving your worst and best moments. But this wasn't just another Halo game. It was the definitive Halo game for a lot of players, capturing everything that made the series great while pushing the boundaries of what a Halo game could be. The soundtrack, composed by Marty O'Donnell and Michael Salvatore, was heartbreaking and perfectly matched the game's tone. Tracks like Lone Wolf and Winter Contingency still gave me and many other fans chills. But Reach was also the end of an era. Bungie handed it over to 343 Industries after this, and well, 343 has done their worst to continue the saga. But there's something about Reach that feels really irreplaceable and different. It was Bungie's love letter to the franchise, and you can feel that love in every mission, multiplayer match, and line of dialogue. Of course, no game is perfect. The bloom mechanic in multiplayer was extremely frustrating, and the campaign space mission, even though I personally felt it was great, it really did feel like Bungie was just testing an idea that they would never fully explore. But these minor missteps don't detract from the game as much as Armor Lock, of course. In the end, Halo Reach is more than just a game. It's a masterpiece and a farewell. It's the story of heroes who gave everything to protect humanity, and even when they knew they couldn't win. It's the last hurrah of a studio that changed the industry forever, and in my opinion, the campaign displays much of Bungie's frustrations with Microsoft and just the feeling that the studio had around Halo at the time. It was an inevitable fate that they would have to leave due to the poor conditions at Microsoft. But anyway, I rate this game 5 Warthogs out of 1 Plasma Grenade.